Hey there, tech fans. Rick here again from the OREI team with an overview of the HDS-EXM 400-K HDMI extension kit. This product was engineered to make it incredibly easy for you to share all of your media content from one location with a second remote location up to 400 feet away over a single Cat6 or Cat7 LAN cable. The product fully supports 4K media content, and it's both HDMI 1.4 as well as HDCP 1.4 compliant, which means it's plug-and-play compatible with all of your modern media gear. The kit also includes a set of infrared blasters that will collect up the remote control signals from that second location and pass those back digitally over that LAN connection to the primary location where they're rebroadcast so you can effectively remotely control the content you're watching. And finally, the system can be operated in a one-to-one relationship where a single transmitter can send that media content to a single location, or you can pick up additional receivers and add those to your system to turn this into a one-to-many relationship where the same media content can be distributed to multiple locations at the same time. Now, as part of this overview, I'd like to start with a quick unboxing just to show you everything that's included with the kit, and then I'll take a closer look at the transmitter and the receiver modules and explain the connections so you understand how to use them. I'll list the features and functions that this product provides, and then I'll come back and do a short demonstration to show you just how simple this product will be to use with your own equipment. So let's get started with the unboxing. When you first open up the box, you'll find the transmitter module and the receiver module. You'll find two 5-volt 1-amp DC power supplies. You can simply plug this into any standard wall outlet. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it with a locking collar, which plugs directly into the DC input port on both of the modules. Also included is a set of infrared blasters, and these look similar but they're different, so make sure you plug the correct one into the receiver and the correct one into the sender, and they're labeled and explained in the manual. And finally, a full instruction manual is also included that lists connection diagrams, specifications, and a lot of other really good information about the kit that you'll need to understand in order to use it correctly. Now, if you stay tuned next, I'll take a closer look at both modules, I'll list those features and functions, and then I'll come back and do that demonstration. The kit includes both the sender module and a receiver module, and both of these feature full metal enclosures which make them incredibly durable and a great choice for both residential or even commercial installations. Let's start with the sender module first. On either side of the cabinet, you'll find these ventilation slots that are really designed to let any heat that develops during operation escape, and it keeps the electronics inside at a very comfortable temperature. You'll also find mounting flanges on both sides of the modules that can be used to mount these up off the ground and out of the way. On the one side of the sender module, you'll find a full-sized HDMI port labeled input. This connects to whatever media device you'd like to share the content from with your remote location. Always use a high-quality cable to make that connection. To the right of that is a 3.5mm port labeled infrared out, and this is where one of the infrared blasters plugs in, and make sure you plug the correct one in. They're labeled and they're explained in the manual, but it plugs in right there. To the right of that is a reset button you can use to reset this module if needed by holding it down for a few seconds once you've applied power. On the other side of the sender module, starting on the left, is a power indicator. When you add power to this module, it starts an internal power on self-test where it checks the electronics, and once it passes that test, it'll light that LED, letting you know it's ready to use. To the right of that is a DC input port, and that's used with one of the power supplies. You can plug that power supply into a wall outlet. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it, which plugs in right there, and you can finger tighten that collar. To the right of that are two more LEDs, status and link indicators. These let you know that you have a solid connection between the sender and receiver modules and that you're transferring content. The link indicator lets you know that the cable's been checked between the two locations and it's been verified, and the status indicator lets you know you're sending content between those two locations. Finally, to the right of that is a LAN port, and that's where one end of the Cat6 or Cat7 cable between the sender and the receiver module plugs in. Under normal operation, all three of these should be lit. The receiver module is very similar. Again, you've got ventilation on both sides, mounting flanges so you can mount this module up off the ground. On the one side of the receiver module, you'll find another full-sized HDMI port labeled output. This connects to the local monitor at that remote location you'd like to use to enjoy the content. To the right of that is another 3.5mm port, and this one's labeled infrared in. The other module plugs in there. To the right of that is another reset button you can use to reset this module. On the other side, another power indicator, another DC input port, a status and a link indicator, and another LAN port This is where the other end of that Cat6 or Cat7 cable plugs in from the sender module. And again, on the receiver, all three of these should be lit for normal operation. That's pretty much it for the kit. The OREI HDS-EXM 400-K is compatible with a wide range of HDMI media sources, including game consoles, digital projectors, streaming devices, media players like Apple TV, and computer systems. The product's features include full support of 4K media content. It allows you to expand the initial system to multiple remote locations. It is both HDMI 1.4 as well as HDCP 1.4 compliant. It offers 400 feet of extension between the primary and secondary locations, and an infrared blaster kit is included for complete remote control of your content. Now I'll show you the connections you'll need to make to use this product with your own equipment. And for this demonstration, over here I've set up a small media player that's currently looping a video on this monitor, and that's the media content that I'd like to share with my remote location. Over here I've set up a second monitor, and this represents that remote location where I'd like to enjoy the content from the primary side. And these can be up to 400 feet apart. In front of me, I have the transmitter module here and the receiver module here. Now the first set of connections I'll make are to the transmitter module, and I'll start by disconnecting the media player from the monitor and plugging that cable directly into the HDMI input port on the transmitter. And now I can add power. I've already plugged in the power supply. The other end of that cable has a barrel connection on it, which plugs into the DC input port, and I'll tighten that collar. And you can see the LEDs already come on, so it's ready to use. Now I can connect the receiver up at the remote location. I have a second high-speed HDMI cable connected to the bottom monitor, and I'll plug that into the HDMI output port on the receiver. And now I can add power there. I've already plugged in a second power supply, and I'll connect that to the DC input port on the receiver. And the LEDs come on there. Now both of these have already gone through their power on self-test. This one has checked the resolution of the media content, and this one has checked the resolution of the monitor. The only thing we're missing at this point is the Cat6 or Cat7 cable between these two units. And I've got a short Cat6 cable right here that I'll use for that connection. And I'll plug it into the receiver and the other end into the transmitter. Now the minute I do that, the modules recognize each other, they handshake, and they'll make whatever adjustments are needed to give you the best possible picture at that remote location. And there you go. It takes a second, but what you're viewing here is HDMI content from the primary side that's been converted into a signal that can be sent across this LAN cable and then converted back into an HDMI signal for display in this monitor. Now, one nice feature this product provides is that you can use it like I am now in a one-to-one relationship where the transmitter sends the content to one remote location, or you can convert it into a one-to-many relationship where that same media content can be distributed to multiple locations at the same time. And to do that, you'll just need an additional receiver and then some way to connect this back to the transmitter, which involves a switch. I've got a 1 gig switch right here, or you can use an existing network if you like. So I'll disconnect the LAN cable from the receiver directly and plug that into the switch. And then I'll need 2 more LAN cables to connect the 2 receivers. Plug it into receiver 1 and the other one into receiver 2. And then I'll connect these to the switch to distribute that media. It takes a second again for the transmitter to negotiate with both of the receivers, and pretty soon you'll see that same image on both monitors. There you go. So again, what you're viewing is HDMI media content from the primary side that's being distributed across the network to multiple remote locations at the same time. And you can add multiple receivers if you need to, so that same content can be seen on a wide variety of monitors 400 feet away from the primary location. And it really is just that easy to get it working. I hope you found this overview of the OREI HDS-EXM 400-K helpful. This product provides an incredibly easy way for you to share all of your HDMI media content from one location with a second remote location up to 400 feet away over a single Cat6 or Cat7 LAN cable. The product fully supports 4K media content and is both HDMI 1.4 as well as HDCP 1.4 compliant, which means it's plug-and-play compatible with a wide range of different media equipment and a good variety of media file types as well. The product also provides infrared blasters that will collect up the remote control signals from that remote location and pass those back to the primary location so you can remotely control the content you're watching. And finally, the product can be operated in a one-to-one relationship where the same media content is sent to a single location, or you can add additional receivers and you can extend that same media content to multiple locations at the same time. Everything you need to get started is included with the kit, and with a few simple connections, you can be up and running in no time. So until next time, thanks again for watching.